Hi, and welcome to Fun with Finance. I'm Bill Schroer, your host for this session, which is session number 3. I've provided contact information, and you'll notice that we have upgraded our technology, that we are now moving to PowerPoint slides. We are now officially in at least the year 2000. But there's my contact information to send questions, issues, and we're going to try and focus a little bit more on one issue each time while still retaining the overall format of the program. Now, as you remember, our course goals are good money habits, money management, financial markets and investing, all leading towards financial independence. Now, what we've been focusing on the past session or two is the idea of being frugal. And what that means is the art of living below your means. When you live below your means, you have excess disposable income which can be used to save 20%. And that's a key figure that we'll keep repeating, because in order to have investable dollars, you need to have those extra dollars that aren't required for your everyday spending. And that comes as part of living below your means. Now, we talked last time about several steps you can take to live below your means. One is to know your income, and we talked about that a little bit last time. Second is spending less with a budget. By having a budget, you have the ability to monitor and measure and understand best where your money is coming from and where it's going to. And actually, that's what we're going to concentrate on today. So let's skip ahead to the budget. Now, the budget is a plan. It's basically a plan that talks about or addresses the issue of money flowing in and then money flowing out. And while a lot of people are sometimes intimidated by a budget, the fact is it can be an extremely helpful tool to help you understand where your money's going and to help you better manage that resource, which is so important to us in order for us to have some extra money that we can then put into our savings and investing accounts. Now, you'll notice on the screen in front of you is a sample budget and savings plan that could be created by any one of you. And in this case, I'm creating one for Diego. Now, Diego, if you're listening, this is one that might work for you. I don't know. But you'll notice that there is allocations for an allowance, for work, for miscellaneous income, and then there's a whole series of categories which may or may not be right for you that have to do with what you think your spending is going to be. Now, you'll notice that in this particular sheet that I've created on an Excel spreadsheet, which you all can do at home, there is both an estimate, which is column 1, and then an actual, which is column 2. And the idea is that at first you would lay out what you think your estimated income and expenses are going to be. And then over the course of the month or at the end of the month, you write down what your actual expenses are and your actual income was. And then you compare how close you were to your estimate. And of course, as you do that, over time, you get smarter and smarter about what your income is. And then you can monitor and adjust what your spending is so that at the end of the day, you have that money left over to be able to put into your savings. Now, shifting to the next slide, what you're going to see is that our mythical budget for Diego has been enhanced by adding one more column. And what we've done in this case is we've created a formula in the next column which shows that percentage, which that line item is, of the total. For example, in income, miscellaneous, for example, is 50% of the total income. Wow. Somehow Diego managed to generate another 50% of his total income through miscellaneous. Now, what did he do? Well, he may have gotten some gifts from, maybe it was his birthday, or maybe he did some work for, maybe he helped Jordan organize his sock drawer. I don't know. But in any case, he managed to get some additional income that he can then plug into his miscellaneous account and that contributed to his generating more income than he would have had normally. Now, for all of my nieces and nephews and Simone and Grace and all of you, you can identify those elements of your income that you can count on, and then sometimes what you can't count on can be plugged into miscellaneous. So for example, when Bella makes a sandwich for Trey, she might charge him, and she might be able to generate substantial amounts of money when Trey is home for the summer and Bella is making sandwiches for him. Just a thought. Okay, so then also you'll be able to track the different expense items on the budget that allow you to tell whether you're spending more than you think you are on various items. So there's things like snacks or toys, sports, or hobbies. And if you have a plan that you don't want to spend more than, say, 10% on any of those categories, if you exceed that, then you'll be able to tell at the end of the month. So a budget is a really helpful tool. It's not designed to be restrictive. It's designed to be a learning tool to help you understand exactly where your money's coming from and how it's going out. Now, I think in conversation with Gary and with Tricia, I understand that most of you have access to an Excel spreadsheet program. And as a result, you can design your own budget. I have included in the email to each of you, I've included 4 or 5 budget templates that come with Excel. But in point of fact, you can kind of make up your own pretty easily, and it's kind of fun to build your own budget and then create these formulas that calculate differences and percentages and so forth. And we'll talk a little bit more about the details of a budget on another program. Okay, a couple of things I want to talk about towards the end of this program is the homework that I had assigned previously. Well, one of the principles in our book was to spend, principle number 8, was to spend 1 hour a week on learning more about personal finance. You'll see on the graph in front of you, I've provided you with several suggested website opportunities. One is mint.com, where you can go and sign up for your own account, and you can build a budget through Mint and then track your finances that way. Seeking Alpha is my personal favorite newsletter that you can sign up for. It's totally free. You don't need to subscribe and pay. It's actually free, and you can identify some of the newsletters for companies that you might be interested in. So Seeking Alpha is a neat website that provides you some great information about a company that you might be interested in. For example, if you're interested in Disney, you could get the Disney newsletter and you could learn all about, the financial ups and downs of the Disney Corporation. The mintgrad.org is another website that I found that is particularly appropriate for older teenagers and young 20-somethings. So Jordan, Trey, Simone, Grace, you folks might want to take a look at the mintgrad.org. It seems to have a lot of tools that are particularly appropriate for 20-somethings. Schwab.com is a huge site. Of course, I have a number of accounts on Schwab, but you don't need to have an account. You can go to Schwab.com, and if you go to the Insights tab, you can look up a couple of podcasts that I found very interesting. One is called Choiceology, and the other is called Financial Decoder. So you can walk around with your headset on and appear to be listening to some music and being cool, when in point of fact, you're actually getting a lot smarter about finances. So just something to think about as you work on spending your 1 hour a week on personal finance. The other assignment that we had was to recognize, and this is principle number 9, that the goal is to get rich slowly. Avoid get-rich-quick schemes. People that try to get rich quick usually end up losing all their money. And the way to get rich slowly is to have short and long-term goals and build gradually towards those goals so that over time your money accumulates, you invest it, and it begins to pay off. So you transition your savings to investments, and during that time you're getting smarter all the time from a financial intelligence standpoint so that you can best manage risk. And we're going to talk more about risk in another session, but keep in mind the notion is that risk exists in all financial products, and the goal is for you to be smart enough to understand which financial products you want to invest in where you're carefully managing the risk. And we'll talk more about that at another session. Okay, your assignments for next time are to first explore mint.com, which I think is a fascinating website, and I'd like you to look into that a little bit. Also, I'd like you to begin to construct your own personal budget for the first quarter of this year. Use either an Excel spreadsheet or go to mint.com and work on building that. And also, this will be a great opportunity for you to start working on your experience with an Excel spreadsheet. So Excel spreadsheets are a very powerful tool. They're not that difficult to learn how to use. And let me know if you have specific questions regarding setting up a budget. And the last item is to then explore the book, Principles number 10 and 11. And we'll talk more about those next time. So that's all the time we have today. Thank you for being part of this session number 3 of Fun with Finance. See you next time.